It is just a very basic fold-up bike, but it's disc brakes. It sort of looks quite cool. It looks a bit like a BMX, but it is a fold-up bike. And it's from Halfords at £315, which is kind of a bit of a steal, really. I've never paid maybe some of the earlier mountain bikes that I bought that kind of money, the budget ones. But yeah, I don't know what the quality of it's going to be like. And I'm going to have a drive now onto Halfords and see if they've got one in store. Let's go to Halfords and see if we can pick ourselves up a cheap bike. Well, we're here and it is absolutely peeing it down outside, so I'm going to have to dash in and see if Halfords can get me a bike right here and now today, or am I going to have to wait and go through some kind of process that they just can't possibly break. We'll find out. Well, as you can see from the box, I managed to get one and it is in a box. So the next part of this video is probably going to be me trying to build something that I've just bought from Halfords for just £315, which I didn't think was a bad price. So we open the box and find what looked like a couple of wheels in there, a frame all covered in cardboard, and now we've got to unpack all that and work out how it all goes together. That should be fun, let's see. But now I've got to work out where the best place is going to be. Now why I'm doing this indoors is because out there at the minute it is absolutely peeing it down. Well, actually it's probably maybe stopped raining now, but I don't want to get out and make a start and then get completely drenched. So let's try and work out then what bits we've got here. We'll see if we can find the best camera position. Right, so we have a box and we need to get some scissors to try and cut through the various zip ties that we've got going on here on this. I don't know if that just kind of lifts out as a... This is where it's all a bit of a voyage of discovery. The whole thing lifts out like that. And in there we have a box of things like that. So then we have a dog sniffing away to see what's going on. So the plan is now going to be, and apologies if the sound is a bit crappy on this, what I could do is just go and get my, let me just go and get my DJI wireless mic with the endless number of zip ties and things. So that's one wheel there. Looks like it's got a packaging thing on the end of there. Can't imagine that's supposed to be part of the deal. And another one on that side again. I can't imagine they're supposed to stay on, but who knows. So we've got that wheel there. You can still see what I'm doing. Probably going to be here for, I'll just speed this little bit up so that you don't have to sit and watch me doing all of this. Removing of the packaging. So there are some instructions here, but they are kind of a bit hard to understand. I mean, they sort of give some indication of having to do something with a spring and a couple of nuts and bolts. And what we've got here is this kind of mechanism here, which I'll just come out a little bit from, so you can see that. And what we've got basically is like a Torx, I think it's a Torx bolt going through there. And then this is the kind of clamping mechanism that will hold the handlebar stem upright. And then there's this little sort of spring thing here, which I am assuming should be around that bolt there, which would hold that bolt up. But I'm guessing that from the instructions because it isn't 100% clear. So I'm going to try and do that now and see if that works. Well, it kind of looks like it works. So basically there's a little clamp there, and then there's a nut there, which you then have to, there's a kind of bolt that comes up, if you can see that there. And I'll see if I can get it to focus on that. There's a kind of bolt stem that comes up there and that little nut on the end of it, and then you pull that out there, which then releases the handlebar stem so that you can sort of fold it down. That seems to be the way that works. It's a bit weird because you've got this kind of lever here, and then the separate bolt bit here actually holds the stem down. The lever is just like a clasp that goes over to keep the bolt in place. And then that spring kind of sits from the stem of that bolt onto that Torx head bolt that we talked about just a little bit earlier. I think that's the way it's supposed to go. Can't swear, so if you're getting one of these, just check with Halfords if you're building it yourself, but that's how I think it's supposed to be. So, right, now we might be able to get the bike in the other way, upside down, so we can actually put that front wheel on. Right then, so I think we're getting somewhere near now. Obviously got a few more bits and pieces of packaging and stuff to get rid of. It's obviously got these magnetic things on so that when you fold it, that's a good little feature. The discs look like, well, nothing really. The brake caliper, should I say, looks like nothing. It's obviously cable, so it's not like a hydraulic disc. Just catching a little bit on that thing, but it's sort of spinning. I don't know if that's probably because the disc is warped or what, but anyway, we'll turn it upside down. I sort of put the pedals in, need to tighten those up there too. Just checking on the screen, everything looks a little bit out of focus on this camera. I am using the Sony FDR-AX43, I think it is, 43A or something it's called, today to do this. Right, need some air in the tyres, so I'm going to flip it up and pump up the tyres. Right then, so I think we more or less built it. A couple of things to do just to finish it off. These reflectors are loose, so that just needs to be, need to get a screwdriver and just sort that out. Need to put some lights on it. It doesn't come with any mud guards on it, but typically I'll only ride it out in the dry anyway. Has these little magnetic clips here to fasten the two halves of it together when it's folded. Couple of initial observations, haven't even checked the gears yet, that they may need sort of adjusting in some way. Pumped up the tyres. We'll change the seat straight away on it to the Brooks one after I've given it a quick test ride and make sure it's not lethal. It kind of doesn't look like the quality is that good at all, if I'm honest. It just isn't. It doesn't look that good, but for 315 quid, I suppose you can't, for a folding bike, expect anything. When you think about Bromptons coming in, I think, at least like £1,000 nowadays, then it's a third of the price. And clearly, just at a glance, you are getting a third of the quality. I don't know what the Shimano Claris Derailleur is like. It's probably the cheapest thing ever. But yeah, Carrera bike, I think that's a brand that just does the generally stack 'em high, sell 'em cheap kind of thing. Brakes wise, as I say, look a bit kind of flimsy. They're not hydraulic, they're obviously cable. So it's a bit of a sort of just a cheap purchase really, just to give me something to go out on. Tyres look like they'll last 2 minutes on it, probably need new tyres on it. So lots of things to think about. And in the next video, what I will do is get out and about on it just for a short local run. That kind of seems to be working so far. Hopefully the wind noise isn't too crazy. I mean, it kind of doesn't feel a million miles different to just being on a Brompton because of its size, but the wheels are a little bit more kind of manageable on the old suspension. I'm a little bit reluctant to go at any speed on it down this hill that I'm about to go down, but it will test out the brakes, that is for sure. And I kind of thought that the gears felt pretty low just when I was checking them out there, but actually because I don't really go cycling that often, front brake, that brakes sort of work. They're a bit kind of, ooh, maybe the gears are a bit in need of some adjustment. I'll get a hammer on those later. So brakes test again. Yes, they sort of seem to be working. Amazing what when you think about it, people say motorbiking is dangerous, but about to enter a main road here, very busy main road. And while this is sort of supposed to be a cycle lane, not really much of a cycle lane, so we're not going to go, let's get the brakes bedded in. I'm not going to go too fast down here because it is a little bit of an unknown quantity for now. I've got the high-vis jacket on in case anybody thinks they can't see me. See, this is what happens, look, when you get to somewhere like this and some idiot parks in the cycle lane, stopping you from using it. So the plan is just to have a little tootle down here to where there is a little cycle path along the old railway line, and kind of then off in slightly different directions to the old railway line. That's a bit of a bump. I'm slowing it down here now because at some point I want to get the gears back to low again. See if we can get ourselves right out over here, because we are turning right at this junction 2. But what we're going to do is get off here and walk around this bit and do the sort of check it's okay in every direction, and it is. Even though the red light is showing, the red men is showing. And we'll wait here until we get a clear path. Before we cross. It is clear now, so we'll just whisk across. And the same here. Wait until that traffic stops there. Like we're clear, we can get across. It is quite a complex little set of crossings, this, to say that you are only crossing one kind of simple junction, or reasonably simple junction. And then at this point this path becomes, I think at this point this path becomes the cycle path. So I've now gone the wrong way with the gears. I'm just trying to get them back down to a low enough gear to right down to the lowest gear. So it's an 8-gear bike. I'm not wearing my cycle gloves either, I forgot to put those on. So the grips do feel a bit sort of rough on the old hands. There's somebody else here parked right in the fucking cycle path. People just have no concern, do they? You know, even when I'm driving a car or riding a motorbike, I'm always thinking about, am I doing the right thing here? Not just for me, but for somebody else, whether that's a pedestrian or a cyclist. But then some people just don't give a do they? Well, this video is going to turn out to be one of those almost heavy breathing videos, isn't it? Because of the cycling. Now this bit here, probably on camera, looks level. And had I been out cycling with a bit more recent experience under my belt, and therefore a bit more fitness, I'm probably on a bike that like the last bike I had was the Go Cycle, and it was an e-bike, so it would have whizzed up here without any problems. Fortunately this isn't. The old budget bike, the old budget fold-up bike, is somewhat more exercise. But for 315 quid, it's not really that bad. I remembered buying one of these back in Spain when I took the big camper van that I converted to Spain, and so I converted a big, in the past, a big Iveco Daily long wheelbase van into a camper, and I took it down to Spain, and I thought campsite was kind of like a couple of miles away from the centre that I was trying to get to. And I thought, well, it's a long walk. From memory there was no bus service, but you could get a taxi. And I just decided to go and have a look at the local bike shop, and they had a fold-up bike which was kind of almost identical to this one. And I guess the same factories in China are just pumping these out left, right and centre. Biker there was looking at me with a big camera on the side of my helmet thinking that I was a motorbiker, clearly. So yes, I bought one that was probably slightly, you know, if you think about the quality of, just ducking down so the camera doesn't get hit, if you think about the quality of everything really that's coming out mass produced, and almost always from the Far East, has become less and less or of less and less quality. So like just on this, where you've got the clamps that hold both the bar stem and the folding mechanism in the middle, I mean, it's got like plastic bits on it, and on that other version of the bike those plastic bits were metal. So yes, there are some metal bits in the clamping system on this, but there are also quite a number of bits that are just flimsy ABS kind of plastic by the look of it. Someone in the middle of the path here. There we go. So it feels like people are so obsessed with looking at their phones that they forget to look at what's going on around them. So this bit of the path here has a nice long straight bit on here, and I'll stop the bike a little bit further up and I'll get the video camera out and do a bit of a walk around look so you can see what it is and decide whether you want to get one for 315 quid at the minute from Halfords. Because actually for 315 quid, even though it's not like anything special, it ain't bad. It ain't bad at all. Right, let's just park it up here. Pop the old side stand out. I'll get the backpack off and get the video camera out so we can do a bit of a reasonable. So yeah, I'm using this Sony FDR-AX43A handicap. It's a 4K camera, which I only bought yesterday. I know it's been out for 3 years. This is the 43A, which I think has got an upgraded screen on it somehow. So I'll just move the bag out the shot. And yeah, that's it. A little £315 fold-up bike from Halfords. It's one of the little Carrera brand ones. Now, on this bike there's no mud guards, no lights, and the quality of everything is a little bit not of its best in class. But for that kind of money, I mean, the fact that it even comes with a little side stand is quite good. Disc brakes, although the disc brakes are just cable and they are a little bit, well, I'll just let you have a closer look there. They're like two little round pods that must be actuated by some sort of lever mechanism off the end of that cable. And it's not like they are really that big surface area wise, and the disc itself is pretty tiny. But I suppose for a folding bike like this, and again it's all about the cost, isn't it? They're not too bad. The derailleur system on the back is a Shimano, what is it called? A Shimano Clarice, which, if I can get that to focus on there, seems reluctant to in the sun. Maybe I've not got the settings quite right on the camera. 8-speed Shimano hub and derailleur. Folding pedals, fairly basic, fairly plastic. The seat stem goes down, the bars stem folds over, and then the bike frame folds in half and then secures by these little magnetic points here. One on the front over there, just there if you can see it, and then one, as I say, just here on the back, and another disc brake there. It's a very basic bike, very simple. I put the Brooks saddle on with the springs at the back just to get that extra bit of suspension, and then it has all of the quick release things on. But I suppose if you were wanting to get one of these, probably the first thing to do will be to just change the tyres on it for something that is likely not to get a puncture. I mean, I don't know if these tyres are any good, they just don't look that fabulous. Right, so we'll get back then, have a bit more of a ride, and then that will be it for this short video. And being the professional cycler that we obviously are, we'll get the old well-used cycling gloves on. Not because it's cold, but it just makes handling the bars a little bit nicer. When you're used to riding motorbikes, it feels wrong not having a pair of gloves on. I'll get the backpack back on, but as you can see, it's a nice little bit of scenery over the hill there. I can hear a motorbike. Sounds like a dirt bike sort of going around somewhere around there. So whether there's any tracks for that or not, I don't know. But of course here today I don't have any power. It's all pedal power. Right then, back to it. Oh, obviously didn't kick the side stand off, but then it had a little in its design, which was pretty good. It just shut itself when it caught the floor. It just closed itself. So let's go up to a little bit more speed on this flat here. Up into top gear there now, I think. Yep. So all the gears seem to be changing, as they should do so far. Quite often that happens with a bike when you first ride it, and then, don't know about you guys, but I usually find after about 2 weeks the gears need some kind of adjustment, because they start skipping and going off the end of the hub and all the rest of it. So I'll gear down one, keep it running through this little tunnel. That was a tunnel sound because I have no engine to rev. Right down to the lowest gear to get up this bit of incline. Given we're just coming out for a very short test run, it seems to be reasonable. I'm going to turn around and head back because it's about to rain, and as much as I'm enjoying this heavy exercise. As you can probably tell, I wouldn't mind not getting wet through as well. So I'll just run back and go and grab a coffee and some cake or something, just to be healthy. The benefit of cycling uphill most of this way, even albeit gradual, is, although this is pretty up and down around here. So yeah, just having that Brooks saddle on makes a difference. It gives you the that little bit of suspension in the seat that doesn't exist anywhere else in the bike apart from the tyres. Yes, the rain is not far away now. Just looking at the clouds over there, you can see it's just starting to come down, and I spotted it and thought, well, the wind seems to be coming from that direction, so it's probably going to be over here before I get home. And so the longer I stay out, the more likely it is to get wet through, which I don't really want to do, even though I've put like a rainproof jacket on. I've not got rainproof trousers on, so it's never really that good. And plus I've got a long hill to climb back up to my house. So anyway, I'll leave this video here. Thank you very much for watching. Let me know if you decide to have a look at these budget bikes from Halfords. Hi there. And if you do get one, let me know what you think. I mean, they're not bad. They're not like, if you're used to more sort of higher quality bikes or just devices in general, then you might think the quality's not that good, but I mean, for what it is, for 315 quid, I don't think it's too bad. I know Brompton is typically around about £1,000 for the cheapest ones, and yes, they are way better quality, no doubt about that at all. But still, they're a fold-up bike. And the one I had was 1,500. So for something for 315 quid, it ain't that bad. So anyway, thank you very much for watching this little video, this little kind of nonsense nowhere video. Do take care of yourselves. Hopefully, I'll be making more videos on this channel soon. And if I don't fall completely out of breath, I'll see you then. Bye bye for now.